You are
subjective.
Putting forward your blind belief.
Blind belief?
Look,
are you looking at the mirror?
Blind belief. When I'm saying, what if? It's objective criteria. You're saying it's subjective. Well, that is a blind belief. In fact, that is some kind of
not really
arrogance and stubbornness, isn't it?
That can be applied to sort of any text, really.
If I said,
no, Mansur, you know what's real?
If I said, bring an umbrella like it,
answering questions.
Excuse me.
You do not have the answer for.
Listen, Alex.
Imaginary answers.
If I told you,
that is real arrogance.
If I told you, make an umbrella like it, you can go and make a camera, and it doesn't do what the umbrella does. Am I going to call this an umbrella or a camera? So you need to know, when I say bring an umbrella like it, and please.
So essentially what you're saying
is
if it's
let him confuse you a bit.
If it's not exactly the same as the Quran, then it's not the Quran. That's all that you've asserted just then.
No. Listen. If somebody makes a challenge to meet the challenge or attempt to meet the challenge, the first step is to understand the challenge. If I said, I am the best runner, no one can beat me in running. And guess what? You do. You just hop, jump on the same place. And you say, I've met the challenge. It would be silly.
Okay.
You need to understand what the challenge is first. When the Quran says bring a chapter like unto it, meaning you need to understand how is a chapter of the Quran. Yeah? If I said make an umbrella like it, you need to know how is your umbrella. Is your umbrella
but the thing is,
of the certain
you can
shape, type, color, texture, form? You need to know this.
Okay.
So, do you know how a chapter of the Quran is?
Okay, so sorry, so what about if I gave you random samples from the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, and asked you to identify which one was the Quran? You probably wouldn't get 100% of them right, and I would test you, but I don't have the means to test you right now.
Let me tell you something. The Quran is such that it is memorized by even a 6-year-old who doesn't speak Arabic language.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring someone like that and they'll tell you, right, listen, and you bring this random statement, they'll tell you it's not Quran. Because the Quran is preserved in their hearts, my friend, okay? That's something that your experiment will fail because people memorize it by heart. But
you can't memorize an entire book by heart at that age. You just it's incredibly difficult.
Okay, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex.
I do think that's incredibly sad.
Alex, listen.
No, it's just like,
is it possible to memorize the Quran in Arabic language by someone who's 6 years old?
Yes.
Yeah, in theory it is.
There are people that have done it.
There are people who have done it.
Yes.
And there are people online who have been shown to people like yourself to understand that yes, it's possible by young people like 6 years old who memorize the whole Quran. It's not an impossible task because the Quran says itself. God made it easy to remember. Would you not take heed?
Okay, wait, so do you know?
وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Quran says that. It's made the Quran easy to remember.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah? So coming back,
the whole thing?
I don't, my son does.
No,
my uncle does. My cousin does.
So if you asked him
we have many people in our own families. I'm sure someone in your family, someone's memorized the whole Quran. I'm sure someone in your family memorized the whole Quran. So, my friend Alex, to come back to this point, we are discussing about when the Quran challenges. You can't just say subjective. If I said bring an umbrella like it, is that a subjective statement? It's not. I can tell you my umbrella is like this. Look. Sorry for the droplets of water. Look. Can you see the umbrella? You can measure it. You can measure the size, shape, the texture, the material, whether it's plastic, whether it's metal. You can measure the mechanics, how it's made. And in fact, even you can bring exactly something like it.
Okay,
right?
So
it's possible. It's possible.
Yes.
Because why? Because when you analyze...
Because it has a definitive structure. Because it's like...
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
You've got there eventually. So when you have a particular form or structure, or the way thing is, then you can replicate it. That's what we do. We replicate. There are a lot of things that are replicated. In fact, the coat that I'm wearing is not the only one coat that was made. Mass produced, replicated, mass produced. Now, when we talk about the Quran, the challenge of the Quran is such that, to give you an example of a similitude to understand, if I gave you a house to make, and I said my house is made up of bricks, and every brick is floating in air, not touching each other, and you go and inspect, it's that building over there, and you go and closely inspect, and you see every brick is floating in space. There's no cement in between, but it's formed a wall, it's formed a ceiling, it's formed all these layers, you know, first floor, second floor, and so on. But in close inspection, they're floating in space. You can actually put something all around it. And I ask you, and I challenge you, if you really think this building can be made by humans, I challenge you to reproduce one like it. Would you be able to make one?
The one where the bricks are floating?
Yeah, all bricks are floating from each other in air. Every single brick not touching one another.
Using science, powerful enough acoustic levitation could probably do it.
Not with our current knowledge.
Yeah, not with our current technology.
But talk about just say no. What we have today. With our current technology that we know of, probably not, definitely not.
Yeah, but at some point, yes.
At some point, you can become a turtle, as I said. You can become anything. And you said yes.
Sorry, you're just doing. You're just sort of reducing it to absurd.
No, I am saying yes. Disbelieve that given enough time, everything is possible. That's absurd statement. That's absurd.
But that is. Well, given enough time, everything is possible.
No, it's not.
Okay. Really? Okay. Give me an example of something that can't happen.
Okay. So you're saying, given enough time, you can become a turtle, you can become a banana, you can become a grass, you can become a tree, you can become infinite things. Okay. One second. So given enough time, you can be infinite of those things, right?
Not me personally. Maybe the elements that make up me.
Why not you personally? Why is it not possible? You just said given enough time, everything is possible.
Okay.
Because he'll probably die before that happens, before it evolves.
But in the future, you compose and recompose.
Why do you like pleading to ignorance so much?
I am not. He was.
No, you really love
pleading to ignorance wasn't my option. It was yours. You're pleading to us in the future. Everything is possible.
Well, okay, fine. If we take at some point somewhere else in the universe, at some point, a planet pretty much with exact. If we take that the universe will just go on forever, it won't end, which it probably will at some point. If it doesn't end, then at some point there will be a planet exactly like ours, down to every single detail.
That is a possibility.
Yes, down to yeah. Well,
look, again, this is another belief, blind belief, that you know what, something like this exists somewhere. Look, the problem of this fine-tuning constants have stirred up people's minds and saying, how do we explain that? How do we explain so much precision in our universe? They're saying, you know what, it's not so precise. There's somewhere else, another universe there, you know, it was a little bit less precise and so on. This is one of the random chance. This is called trying to find excuses to something which is in front of you, obviously plain, clear, the truth, the reality. But we're trying to go away from reality. The more we go over reality, the more absurd thinking we'll have. In future, science will discover that God exists. Yeah?
Never trust people who tell you something is clear and plain.
In the future, one moment. In the future, science, it's possible.
It is possible, but it is not certain.
So nothing is certain. So don't bring any of this uncertainty in the first place then. So as I said, the Quran is like this. When it challenges to bring something like this chapter of the Quran. Why did the masters of Arabic language fail then? This is something you need to explore it more. Why was it difficult for them, impossible for them to bring
language?
Arabic language of the Quran, Arabic language of the Arabs at that time.
Wait,
why were they unable?
The Qurans that got burned by Uthman, or the Quran that was kept,
the Quran,
or maybe the Qurans that escaped the burning for some luck.
The Quran that escapes or burned, any of them. Is it possible to match any by anyone? Can anyone imitate?
Qurans? Why were they burned?
Yes, it is possible.
What are your criteria?
Yeah.
Mansur, come on.
Who's done it? Do you have any example?
I don't have any. I don't
right.
Well, okay,
so the examples are provided in the internet. So many I've seen.
Mansur,
but they all fall short in one thing. Do you know what the one thing is? They don't understand the challenge.
Mansur.
Like you're saying, what if I now show you works of Shakespeare, beautiful verses. It doesn't understand the challenge.
No, but the thing is, you can replicate every kind of literature.
Not Quran.
No, it's not special in any way.
That's what. Then you'll have the shock when you do understand the challenge.
No.
This is an assumption. This is a blind belief people have. I hope that everything is the same.
No, wait.
Okay,
Mansur, why did Uthman burn the Quran?
What's more likely?
Why did he burn all different Qurans?
Oh, you want to send?
Hold on.
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Oh, he felt like so. The whole community
He
felt
felt
like
so.
Yeah, whole community
So
felt
how
like
do you
so.
know that he didn't burn the real Quran and what you're following is a proxy?
The reason being, the Quran, I'll tell you, the Quran that's been transmitted to us, just a side note, the Quran that has been transmitted to us is the Quran that was transmitted by the whole community from the prophets.
Yeah.
So it's not from one individual. The whole community said this is the Quran and this is what we accept. So if the community agreed that this is the Quran, that's what I accept, because the community got it from the Prophet got it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I am saying your assumption that it's like the same, unfortunately when you ponder deeply on the Quran, you will realize that it was just a mere assumption.
Do you know who is Zayd ibn Thabit?
Yeah, we can talk
I
about
don't know
that.
if I'm pronouncing that right. Do you know who that man is?
Okay, hold on. What's more likely, that every book is replicatable and not special in some way? Like you could get J.K. Rowling to, well, you could get anyone to write another Harry Potter book, and if you got everyone to do it, then one would probably look almost indistinguishable from an actual
1400. And 34 years.
What would be more?
One second.
No.
You finish your statement. Then.
No, you answer him first.
What would be more likely? Every book is replicable, or the Quran is just that one really special one? What's more likely?
If the Quran makes this very challenge itself, this is from God, and it's not. Are you listening? Are you listening?
Sorry, that's
are you listening?
self-asserting.
No, are you listening? Are you listening? The Quran says it is a unique book that God has given his speech, not imitable, and it challenges people to bring it. So now, what is more likely? More likely is, if it wasn't from God, it should be replicable, it should be imitable. 1430 years or so of history, of time. Which people have matched the Quran within this time period?
Okay, but
it's not that they didn't try. They tried and failed.
No.
Why?
No, I think they failed. I mean, as I said, Uthman
the only reason why they failed is because you define replicating the Quran. The only way you could replicate the Quran is literally by copying out the exact things. And if anything,
that's why you need to understand what the nature of the challenge is. The nature of the challenge is on the stylistics of the Quran.
No, hold on.
What do you mean, no? I'm just telling you what the nature is. You say, no. I said, bring an umbrella like it. No.
Using the umbrella.
Why not?
Because it's not. Okay.
Because it has a form.
Yes,
certain form. The Quran has a certain form.
Yes,
Got it?
And it can be replicated. Every form can be replicated.
Okay.
Including the Quran.
Okay. The Quran.
It can be replicated.
I know. This is.
So you know the Quran can be replicated.
Alex, this belief had been belief of many non-Muslim critics over 1400 years, and when they were challenged, if you say so, the Quran, excuse me, if you say so, produce something like it. So the Quran doesn't stop there, by the way. It says, if you can't do it yourself, seek your helpers and supporters to do this job besides God. The Quran doesn't leave you to someone who yourself are incapable. It says, go and help, seek help to do that job. So what form of genre is the Quran? Is it like
it's fiction?
Is it like the poetry, prose? Is it like the meters and rhymes of al-Madid, al-Khafif, al-Rajaz, al-Hajaz, al-Tawil, al-Basit? What is it? You will be surprised to hear in your shockness, that these forms that I mentioned, the meters, precise meters and rhymes, Madid, Khafif, Tawil, precise forms. Quran is neither, none of them. It has its own form. Bring like it in its own form. That's the challenge of the Quran. So go to scholars of Arabic language who are not Muslims and say, I have spoken to a Muslim for long time Speaker's Corner, and he's put forward this challenge, and he's saying so confidently, can you provide me from scholarship of Arabic language who are not Muslims, who provided and met that challenge? Do that.
No, okay.
How does that prove it's from God?
Hold on. So what about if I showed
It does, but this is a different question altogether.
What about if I showed you a...
Can we finish the discussion in a few minutes, yeah?
Okay.
Or we continue after, because I need to pray one prayer. No, I just said, look, we have set time prayers. One of my prayer time will disappear, so I need to pray, and I can come back. Maybe, you know what? I'll go and pray now. It'll take a few minutes, and I'll come back, and my brothers can continue.